I have not. And
August the
I
6th,
need to make
2019, 9 a.m.
Anyway, I mean, just, I could, but
Call
I'll
the roll,
probably
please.
just roll it into one,
Curtis?
otherwise I
Awful.
won't have an excuse to,
What?
you know, Kurt,
I'm here. Doobie?
here,
Whitlow?
Here.
I won't pay attention.
I'm here, Mark.
Bart,
Bart.
sorry. I looked at your name.
A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Take a few minutes to look at the claims.
Question?
Yeah.
Yes, on the, planning and zoning, the first one, inspection mileage, 603 at 5.545 per mile, $30.16. If that is 603 miles, shouldn't that be $301.60?
It could be a misprint on there.
The first one, the top line,
Okay, I see what you're talking
which would make the total over $1,000.
603 miles down at 54.5 cents.
328,635. 328.635 is what I'm coming up with.
He had 52 miles.
Said 603, so.
There's the thing, 52 miles, and it was actually, the mileage rate is incorrect.
Okay.
So that should be changed to 52 miles, yeah.
Got it. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Amanda.
I think that's the same for Jeff Meyer as well. That's the incorrect.
Mhm.
That should be 1,358 miles, and the mileage rate is wrong as well.
Which one is that, Amanda?
Jeff Meyer,
Okay,
What's the rate?
the mileage rate right now is 58 cents.
Right. Corrected. Thank you again.
and how much is, was Myers?
His miles are 1,358.
So does the total come out the same then, or are we looking at a different total altogether?
No, the total's correct. The total is correct. I think just the mileage and the amount was
mile.
typed in
Yeah.
incorrectly.
Because that corresponds to the amount we got.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they got the total right, but
I
the
think,
input was wrong?
yeah.
Okay. Lisa, what's the death certificate security paper?
All death certificates and birth certificates have to be on, paper that's, specifications come from the state, that they have hologram seals on them and stuff like that, so everybody in Illinois has to use them.
So you just get it in a
Yeah,
box and
we did a grant for, it comes from a charge that goes on every death certificate, so usually that grant's enough to cover all of our death certificates.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look it over? I would entertain a motion to send them on to the county board for approval with the corrections made.
So move.
Second, Marty? Roll please.
Curtis.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Barb.
Yes.
Ruby.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the reports from the departments. Lisa?
First of all, I apologize if I go into a coughing fit in the middle of my report. I can't promise I'll even make it through, but suddenly I feel fine for like 5 minutes I might get. One thing that I have is Mike Ballinger, our outgoing delinquent tax agent, has been in the office and he's been working on some tax deed things. He had sold a few properties, and you know, once he does that, there's a big distribution and a resolution to transfer that property to the person that he sells it to. I bring it to you guys and you guys approve them. They're real common. So he's got one here, but there was quite a few questions on it. It looks different, and we just had some questions on it. So we've got a phone call into him. So I don't want it approved today until we find out exactly what's going on with these. So I just wanted you to be aware that there might be a distribution of a few parcels, possibly even for finance on Thursday, or if we don't get an answer, we probably won't approve them this month. We'll wait till next month. The other thing is that Kurt and I want to make sure that we get the contract entered into with Joseph Meyer as soon as possible. So, did you get a chance to talk to Jim? Okay. Jim Devine has the contract, correct?
Yes.
And he's supposed to be looking it over to make sure it's fine, which I'm sure it is, because Joseph Meyer has attorneys on their staff. But we just needed it to be approved by him. And then we see no reason why we couldn't go ahead and get that contract and maybe a resolution to approve that contract through the county board with the date of exactly when, and we know exactly when, because it was 120 days from when we sent the letter to Ballinger's. So since Jim's on vacation, that's obviously not gonna happen today, or maybe even this month. But I would say no later than next month, wouldn't you?
Yes.
That we get it done. We don't wanna mess up our window, you know, and not have them there ready to start working on our behalf.
Does it appear the transition going well so far, or?
The only thing that we've got going on right now is that we're still working on the big issue with, the Ballinger, mess up. So, I was just gonna talk a little bit about that too. So there isn't really any transition yet.
Right, okay.
But, there's gonna be issues with it because, you know, we had those 12, I believe it was 12 or 13, 14 parcels sold to
Yeah.
12 people. And we sent out the letter, went out from Jim Devine's office, and we've heard back from, I believe, almost everyone, giving them the choice of whether they want to, have the property deeded back to the county and get paid back out, or if they're gonna go ahead and keep the property, and go through the 7 years of paying the taxes and get some kind of a deed. Yeah, secure title. Superior title, yeah. So we've heard back from most everybody, and we know what almost everybody's gonna do, but what we don't really know, but that's kinda like step one, we just had to find out who's gonna do what. So then there's gonna be steps that follow, and obviously, that's where we're gonna need Joseph Meyer, our new company, to help us. For example, well, this won't be a Joseph Meyer question, but my question or something for you guys to think about is, so where's the money gonna come from to pay out the people that want to get the property deeded back to the county? Worst possible scenario, it's gonna be probably around $12,000 to $15,000. So it's not like huge, you know, amount. It's not gonna cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, it wasn't that kind of properties. But, and they all know that it's gonna be a little while before it happens, because we want to be working with Joseph Meyer when we do it, with their attorneys. So we've gotta figure out where that money's gonna come from. Let's see. And then also, if I'm correct, Ballingers have already been paid for those parcels that he sold. And
Yeah,
does he pay us back?
Right.
You know, I believe he should. I think probably, my guess is that, Joseph Meyer, they explained that they have to make the transition smooth, they sort of like, have to buy out Ballingers, and in that, they'll be, buying out the properties that they have, paid money on working
you
towards
wonder where
the
his
tax.
legal obligation would be in something
Right.
like that.
And so possibly they'll maybe just subtract the money that, I would say they owe us back for, you know, things that weren't done correctly, you know, that they got paid for. So, I don't know exactly how all that will
Right.
work, but that's gonna be all part of the, I think, negotiation process between Joseph Meyer and Ballingers. They've done it dozens and dozens of times as they
Yeah,
more and more counties, so they know what they're doing, and
Sure.
obviously, we'll leave that up to them. I just think the most important part is that we don't let any kind of a window close where we don't get under contract with them, for them to begin the very first day that they can.
it's important,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be working on that and make sure that it, I will probably bring it, I guess, next month. Yeah, we'll have it ready somehow.
I trust they'll do the right thing, you know.
Hope so,
Got other clients that they wanna keep an eye on too.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's all I have.
thank you. Kurt?
With those,
Sorry, go ahead.
with the people in question, are most of them going to want to
It's
give it
kind of
back,
half
or?
and half. I'd say about 50% keep it and 50%, you know, deciding, maybe we'll just give it back.
What sort of properties have they bought?
Some of them are just, vacant lots. Some of them, I think one has a little garage on it. One of them has a little, shed that they turned into some kind of a mechanic shop. So he wanted to keep that one
Yeah.
for sure, because he's made his little business in there. One of them is an old building in Donovan, that's kind of dilapidated. Mostly things that go to tax sale that don't get redeemed are not exactly desirable
Yeah.
properties. you
Yeah.
know. So they're not high dollar things, but it's mostly whether or not, it's just how bad somebody wants it and what they want it for. And, you know, we wanna make sure that they're treated, as fairly as possible, you know, and, a couple of them hadn't decided yet, and so they hadn't paid the first installment of taxes, and then they made their decision, and we made sure that once they came in to pay their first installment, that they weren't gonna be charged any late fees for paying that first installment. So we're doing everything we can to work with them, because it certainly wasn't their fault. And although it wasn't really our fault, we're still, it's, you know, our
Where the
responsibility.
chips fall, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's been good so far, you know, working with everybody. Nobody's been, you know, like extremely angry at us or anything like that. They've all worked real well with us. So we're just doing the best we can in a bad situation.
What, I know you can't give an exact figure off the top of your head, and maybe this is more curt, but what do the taxes seem to run on each property, is there?
That I can't answer, but it's not very much, cause usually
No.
Yeah.
they're just empty lots, so.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
Maybe a few $100
That's at
on
most,
most
yeah.
of them.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for Lisa? Moving on, Kurt?
Well, we're working on getting our first distribution out. The first distribution has to be out 30 days after the date of after the first date of collection. So by August 16th, we have to have first distribution out. We're working on that right now. We're trying to shoot for probably next week, the week of the 12th, we'll be getting that distribution out. We've collected so far to date a little over $33 million. The total levy that we extended for taxes was $52,900,000 and some odd dollars. So we've collected over half of the tax money so far to date. So like I said, we'll be getting out the first distribution sometime next week.
Good. Okay. Do we have anything for planning and zoning? Anything from planning and zoning today?
I do.
Go.
Tonight is most of you know, there's an informational hearing here at 6 o'clock about the hog farm application down by Stockland. It's not mandatory that county board members be here, but it's encouraged
6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock. Not sure exactly what the tenor of the meeting will be, but the board is required to send a letter to the Department of Agriculture within 30 days from the meeting tonight, whether we recommend approval or denial of the application. So the meeting tonight may, if anybody has any questions about how they might feel about it tonight, meeting tonight may help to answer some of that.
And it's not binding, right, what we send to them, is that correct?
It's not a matter of being binding or not. The final authority and decision rests with the Department of Agriculture.
Correct, so basically whatever we say really to them is irrelevant.
As I said, what we would send to them is a recommendation. And that's what we're required to do.
They'll know how we feel and
We'll bring it up at the meeting next Tuesday at the board meeting to make a final determination on that, but in case anybody, whatever your interest is, I'd encourage people to come tonight to the hearing. 6 o'clock right here in the boardroom.
thank you, John. Got anything else pertaining to planning and zoning? If not, we'll move on. Discussion of solar projects, possible revision.
I can tell you one thing about the revisions we made to the solar ordinance, they're still on the state's attorney's desk. And the main focus of his review is gonna be whether or not we need to have a ZBA hearing. And I know he's been very busy over the past couple of months and hasn't had a chance to really go over it, but as you heard a few minutes ago, he's on vacation this week, so something we're gonna have to wait till next month to
Go.
get some final resolution on that aspect of it. But if we have to have a ZBA hearing, we'll be scheduled. If we don't, we can go ahead and approve the ordinance changes and be good to go, so.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, do we have any old business to discuss? Any new business? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.